Claudia. Folks, before we get started today, as you know, Mark has experienced a visa issue that we are working through at the moment. To put anything to rest, we are confident that the issue will be resolved, and we anticipate Mark competing in the co-main event of UFC 160. So again, our team is working through that issue, and we anticipate Mark making his way to the United States this weekend. Let's go ahead and open it up for the first question.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to ask a question, you may do so by pressing the star key followed by the digit 1 on your telephone keypad. If you're using a speakerphone today, please make sure the mute function on your phone is turned off to allow the signal to reach our equipment. Again, please press star 1 to ask a question. We'll pause a moment to assemble the queue. We'll take our first question from Steve Juwan with Wrestling Observer.
Thank you for taking my call. My first question today is for Cain Velasquez. Obviously, the last time you fought Bigfoot, you had a very impressive performance. Some would say it was a complete domination. Now, obviously, you're fighting a different Bigfoot than you fought that time, but what do you say to the people who are thinking this will be a one-sided fight the second time?
You know, this is a whole new fight. You know, obviously, we saw what Bigfoot can do. I mean, in his past 2 fights. So the thing of, you know, can't take him lightly. He is a tough competitor. He has, you know, really dangerous stuff. You know, in the octagon. So I don't see this as, you know, anything less than a hard, grueling fight. So that's what I'm expecting.
Absolutely, and. Now you've got a possible contender coming out of the co-main event between Mark Hunt and Junior Dos Santos. Do you have a preference between those two as to who you'd like to fight?
No preference for me at all. You know, just I guess the best man win. But hey, you know, not thinking about that fight at all. Thinking about the fight versus Bigfoot, and that's it.
All right, very good. And question for Mark.
Steven, go ahead.
All right, yeah, a quick question for Mark Hunt, and then I'll jump back into you. Mark, you're very impressive of late. You've got a string of big wins over quality opponents in the UFC, and you've been knocking people out, and you've jumped into the top 10. So obviously you've proved all your critics wrong. Do you think a win over Junior puts you into that #1 spot to fight for the title?
Well, it should really, yeah. For me, it should really put me in. If I can beat Junior, it should put me into the #1 spot. I don't see a reason why I wouldn't.
Absolutely. And what do you think is the biggest test he offers you in the cage coming up on the 25th?
Everything. He's like I said, the former world champion, so it'll be a great match for me. So we'll see how it goes.
And quickly, can you comment on the visa issue? What exactly is the problem that you're having right now?
Just some stupid misunderstanding. That's all it is. I don't know really what it is. It's just it was just something that happened a long time ago, and it should be cleared up. So hopefully I can fly out of here this week sometime, tomorrow, tonight, whenever. Hopefully. Sure.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
We'll take our next question from Ariel Hawani with Fuel TV.
Excuse me. Sorry, Ariel, to interrupt you. This is Anna Claudia. Dave, we need to patch Junior back in.
Yeah, we're having just a slight issue with a busy signal on his side. We're going to try him again right now, Anna.
Thank you.
No problem. Ariel, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. Actually, one of my questions was for Junior, so I will return when he returns. But I did want to ask Mark a couple of questions. So, Mark, you kind of gave us a vague sense as to when you think you'll be able to fly out. Has anyone told you that on this day at this time you will have a flight to Las Vegas and you'll be able to leave the country?
Well, no, because the only thing I got from the U.S. consulate was we'll call you, you know, and he said specifically that he had instructions not to give me a visa yesterday, so that I couldn't. It was hard to talk to a brick wall, and he was like that. So it was a no, and he just said we'll call you, and that's it. That's all the information I got.
You've come to the U.S. before in the past. Why is this an issue now?
I wouldn't know. I don't know what it is. I'm not like a threat to America or anything. I'm just, ready to do my job, and that's it. I don't know what it is.
And at this point, considering all that you've had to go through, you've been to the airport a bunch of times, you tried to leave last week. Do you feel like this is a distraction? Because you said that on Twitter, you said that you wanted to get acclimated to the time difference, the climate, etc. Do you feel like now you're dealing with a distraction that may affect you in the fight?
Yeah, it's running low. I'm running out of time just to get over there to get acclimatized. And I fought in Vegas once before, and I went out there 4 days out of a fight, and that was quite tiring because I was going to sleep at 6 in the morning American time, and everyone else was waking up. So it was a bit of a problem. So I just had to get my visa in time to get acclimatized. So hopefully soon, tomorrow or tonight, one of the two.
Is Junior back?
Ariel, he is back on the line.
Junior, what do you make of this situation? Are you worried that you won't be able to fight Mark next week?
Que tá acontecendo?
Eles estavam falando do visto do Mark Hunt, que ainda não saiu, e o Ariel está perguntando para você se você está preocupado, se você acha que tem possibilidade de você não ter luta semana que vem, se isso te preocupa.
Logo que eu soube da notícia, eu fiquei preocupado, sim. Fiquei preocupado e com medo de que caísse minha luta. Eu quero muito lutar nesse evento e treinei muito para isso, entendeu? Estou preparado para lutar. Então eu espero realmente e eu tenho certeza que o Mark Hunt também está e treinou muito para isso. Então eu acho que eu espero realmente que ele consiga esse visto e a gente possa ter a nossa luta.
Yeah, when I first heard the news, Ariel, I was worried. You know, I was scared that I wouldn't have a fight. I've trained a lot. I've invested a lot into this training camp and very prepared. And I'm sure Mark is in the same boat, you know. So neither one of us wants to be without a fight next week. That said, it's my understanding the matter is being resolved.
Okay, and one last quick question, and thank you for that. Just for Dave, from a UFC perspective, is there a timeline or a deadline in place as to when this needs to be resolved by in order to make sure he has enough time to prepare and, you know, that the fight can still happen next week?
You know, Ariel, right now, as I mentioned at the top of the call, our team is working on this issue. This isn't the first time we've had a travel issue or a visa issue, so we have some of the best people equipped to take care of these issues. We're pretty confident that Mark's going to get out over the weekend. So as soon as we have more of an update, we will let you know. But I'm sure Mark will put it out on Twitter once he gets on the plane. But we're pretty confident it's going to get taken care of, and we'll keep you guys posted.
Thank you.
As a reminder to the audience, *1 for questions, *1 please. We'll take our next question from Damon Martin, BleachersReports.com.
Yeah, my first question is for Mark. Obviously, this whole situation with the visa, the distraction, I'll ask you kind of a different follow-up. How frustrating has it been, to deal with all the stuff you've been dealing with when, hypothetically, this is, the biggest fight you've had in the UFC. This is the fight that could earn you a title shot. Has this been just frustrating and made you angry, or have you had to, kind of get back into training and just kind of get your mind off of it?
Well, yeah, look, I had to just keep training and do a lot of different stuff here. And, it's just, end of the day, I still got to get out of here and get to the battle with Junior. But it's just frustrating. What can you do? I can't do nothing about it. It's not in my hands anymore. So I just leave it in God's hands and see whatever happens, happens. So.
And a couple of questions for Kane. Kane, your last time with the title, obviously you had the battle with Junior. You came back, you won the fight with Bigfoot, and then you re-won the title. How important is this fight in terms of cementing yourself as champion? I know a lot of people say you feel like the champion not only when you win it but when you defend it. How important is it for you to defend that title?
To me right now, it's the most important thing, to defend it, just to hold on to it, itself. This is the position that I want to be in, so, I have to go out there and perform.
And I know that, obviously this is a rematch for you. You fought Bigfoot last year. Again, not looking past this, you may end up having a rematch with Junior next, things like that. Is there a certain mindset you have to get into when you're facing guys for a second, maybe even a third time potentially? I know some guys don't even really like doing rematches because, it's hard to get up for the same fight again. How do you deal with that, knowing that you've already done it once, you may have to do it a couple more times?
That's fine. As far as motivation, I mean, it's there. I'm motivated to do this, and it being a rematch, I mean, it is what it is. We've already fought before, but you kind of learn from that fight, but not really, think too much of it. You gotta kind of think of this as a whole new fight, whole new strategies involved, and just take it from there.
And one question real quick for Junior. Junior, I know that it's been said you win this fight, you get your title shot, you get the rematch with Cain. Is that motivation? Is it a distraction when you have that kind of looming overhead? Or is it, is it exciting to know that you do win this fight and you get another crack at the title?
Júnior, ele falou, com essa luta, você consegue ter uma chance para disputar contra o Caim de novo. Se isso é uma motivação ou uma distração para você?
Eu acho que é uma motivação. Eu não estou pensando no Caim agora, não estou pensando no título, estou pensando no Mark Hunt e esse, o meu pensamento está todo nele e o que eu tenho que fazer para mim. Para mim essa é a luta mais importante e por enquanto é a minha luta mais importante porque é a minha próxima. Então eu tento não pensar muito no futuro. Entendeu? Mas com certeza é uma motivação, saber que vou poder ter a minha chance de estar disputando o título novamente é uma motivação.
Yeah, I mean, it's a motivation. I don't think about that right now. Right now I'm focused on my fight against Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt's my next opponent. Mark Hunt's the guy I need to be focused on. It'll be great to have a title shot again if I beat Mark Hunt. And for sure that motivates me, but it's not what I'm thinking about now.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
And next up, we can go to Edward from Oi Magazine.
Hi. This question is, I have two questions for Junior Dos Santos. Junior, how difficult was for you to accept the defeat against Cain Velasquez last December? And the second one is, do you feel you're the only one that can beat Cain Velasquez? Do you feel like the two of you are at a different level?
Entendeu?
Repite aí, a primeira.
A primeira parte foi se foi muito difícil para você sofrer aquela derrota contra o Caim, se você já aceitou isso, e, enfim, como isso te fez sentir na época?
Então, realmente eu fiquei muito triste, né, principalmente na primeira semana, mas depois eu aceitei, eu acho que ele foi melhor do que eu, e eu acho que isso acontece no esporte. E assim, mas uma coisa assim que eu tenho comigo é que realmente eu não estava numa forma boa, entendeu? Eu não estava lá, sei que ele foi melhor que eu, mas eu sei que eu tenho muito mais a dar. Então não foi difícil aceitar, eu acho que depois que eu coloquei a cabeça no lugar foi fácil aceitar. E a segunda?
I'm sorry, what was the second part of your question?
Yes.
The response to the first part. Let me do that first.
Okay.
Yes, it was very difficult to accept my loss to Cain. The first week was a little tough. Of course, I was upset. But Cain was better than me. He fought better than me. He did a better job. He deserved to win. And so, once you see that, you realize, that's what this sport is all about. That was his day. So he deserved to win that night. And so it became easy for me to accept, that it's just part of the sport.
And the second question was if he thinks if he's the only one that can beat Cain Velasquez, and if he feels that he's at a different level, like Cain and him.
Mm-hmm. Se você acha que
eu acho que sim. Eu acho que sim. Não, eu acho que não sei. Eu não sei dizer se eu sou o único pode bater no Caim, que pode vencer o Caim Velasquez, mas eu não sei se eu sou o único, mas eu tenho certeza que eu sou um dos caras que podem, entendeu? E eu sei que a gente vai se encontrar muitas vezes ainda, porque realmente ele está num outro nível. Eu acho realmente que a gente está num nível bem elevado, eu e ele, e eu sei que a gente vai se encontrar muitas vezes ainda, e eu estou muito empolgado para isso, sabe? Aliás, eu estou muito empolgado para isso.
No, I'm not sure that I'm the only one who can beat Cain Velasquez. I don't know about that, but I'm sure that I can beat Cain Velasquez. I'm one of the people who's capable of doing that. And I'm sure Cain and I are going to fight each other many times throughout our careers. There's still going to be a lot of Dos Santos Velasquez and Velasquez Dos Santos fights in each of our careers, because we are, both of us, at another level.
Thank you.
We'll take our next question from Matt Beadle with Zoo Magazine.
Great, thanks very much for that. Greetings from across the pond, gents. My first question is for Antonio. I am just interested to know, Antonio, can you avenge your defeat from last time out against Cain Velasquez?
Pezão, eu estou curioso para saber, você consegue vingar a sua última derrota contra o Cain Velasquez?
Olha, eu costumo estar fazendo nos eventos, entendeu? Muita gente, quando não bota fé que eu posso, eu vou lá e mostro que consigo. Não existe super-herói nesse meio. Eu já venho fazendo meu trabalho duro há 9 semanas e eu tenho certeza que eu vou conseguir uma vitória dia 25 de maio.
I like when people underestimate me. It's nice. I get to go out there and I get to show them wrong. There's no superheroes in this sport. Nobody is invincible. And I've been putting in a lot of hard work for the last 9 weeks. I've been preparing myself, and I'm very confident that I'm gonna have my arm raised on May 25th.
That's great. And obviously, you say no one's invincible. Velasquez has only ever lost once. What do you have to do, Antonio, to defeat him? What game plan have you got to beat this guy this time around?
O Cain só foi derrotado uma vez. O que você precisa fazer para vencer ele? Qual é a sua estratégia dessa vez para conseguir essa vitória?
Olha, eu acho que as duas principais, na minha primeira luta, juntou o nervosismo junto com a ansiedade, e eu troquei esses dois sentimentos pela tranquilidade e pela vontade que eu agora estou. E eu sei que eu não vou ser rápido como o Velasquez. Jamais eu teria que nascer de novo para ficar tão rápido igual a ele, até mesmo que eu pese 30 pounds a mais do que ele. Mas eu tenho que estar com minha mão boa e com minha mão bem pesada, porque eu tenho certeza que eu vou trocar a velocidade com a mão dura, porque a primeira mão que entrar, ele vai sentir. Ele é um grande atleta, ele é um número 1, eu respeito muito, mas eu confio em mim mesmo.
Well, I think the main thing is, in our first fight, I was nervous and I was anxious, and I've replaced those emotions now. Now I'm calm and I'm driven. I really want this. Comparing my style of fighting to Cain's style of fighting, I would have to be born again to become faster than Cain Velasquez. I've got 30 pounds on him. He's going to be faster than me. So I need to work with what I have. And what I have is very, very heavy hands. So, I'm going to need to keep my hands healthy and heavy to go in there. And I'm sure that the first punch that I really land, he's going to go down. I have a lot of respect for Cain Velasquez. I think he's an incredible fighter, and I respect him as a person. But I'm very confident in myself, and I feel very good going into this fight.
Does Antonio take heart from the fact that Cain was defeated in his first title defense against Junior Dos Santos? Does he take heart from that? Do you think he can replicate what happened that time around?
Te conforta saber que o Cain foi derrotado pelo Júnior na sua primeira defesa de cinturão, e você acha que você vai ser capaz de replicar esses fatos?
Olha, sempre é bom ver um amigo ganhar. E eu gosto muito do Júnior. É um amigo que eu tenho. É um compatriota meu também. Eu fiquei muito feliz pela vitória dele. E isso também, tanto daquela luta como, infelizmente, da última luta, eu tirei muita coisa que dá para mim. Eu vim usar dia 25 e para mim foi muito bom ver o Júnior vencer.
It was nice to see Junior beat Kane. Definitely, I took some things away from that fight. It's always nice to see a friend winning, and I like Junior a lot. I consider him a good friend as well as a compatriot. So I like to see him win. And I studied both of his fights against Kane, and I did learn a lot from both of them, his beating Kane and his losing to Kane in the last fight.
We'll take our next question from AJ Perez, FoxSports.com.
This is for Bigfoot. This seems like the last few fights in the heavyweight, it's been very amicable. It's been the fighters have got along pretty well. It's we've seen a lot of fights this year. GSP, Diaz being one of them, where there's a lot of back and forth, not a lot of goodwill. Can you explain why there's so much respect, Bigfoot, for when it comes to you and Kane and you and JDS?
Que esse ano a gente já teve algumas lutas com uma rivalidade muito grande, muita gente falando besteira, troca de farpadas antes da luta, por exemplo, o GSP contra o Nick Diaz, mas que na categoria dos pesos pesados tem tido mais respeito. E principalmente se tratando da você e Caim, o Júnior dos Santos, sempre parece ter respeito. Você consegue explicar por que nessa categoria parece ter sempre esse respeito?
Olha, eu acho que grandes lutadores têm que treinar e mostrar dentro do queijo do que é capaz, não falando para mídia, não querendo mídia antes de luta. Eu acho que verdadeiros lutadores é o Rodrigo Minotauro, o Júnior Cicano, o Caim Velasquez, lutadores que vão lá, luta e mostra dentro do queijo. E eu acho que são uma categoria que quanto menos falar, melhor. Eu acho que tem que haver o respeito, porque a pancada de peso pesado, como já falo, é pesada, entendeu? E tudo pode acontecer numa luta. E eu acho que a gente treina duro para chegar até ali. Eu acho que a gente tem que respeitar um ao outro. Eu acho que isso, para mim, está sempre em primeiro lugar, respeitar meu oponente, antes e após a luta.
I think that great fighters need to train and show their talent and skill inside the cage, not outside. I think fighters like Big Nog, Junior Dos Santos, Kane, these are skilled fighters. They show what they have inside the cage. They train, they fight. In my opinion, the less you talk, the better. The heavyweight division is a division where anything can happen. One punch lands and the fight is over. So you really have to be careful what you say. You could be surprised by the result of the fight. Respect is always first and foremost. Before the fight, after the fight, you have to respect your opponent.
Thanks, Bigfoot. And for Dave, a quick follow on Mark. Are we approaching a point where UFC doesn't have a backup plan, or the backup plan in place just in case right now?
Like I said, AJ, we're working towards keeping this original fight that was scheduled that everybody's excited about intact. So our team is continuing to work with all the necessary officials to get this visa issue sorted out. As far as plan Bs or anything like that, we haven't gotten to that point because we do remain confident that we're going to get this issue resolved. If for some reason something changes, of course we will let you guys know. But as of right now, UFC 160, the co-main event is Junior Dos Santos versus Mark Hunt.
Great, thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to ask a question, *1 for questions, please. *1. We'll take our next question from Ricardo de Pablos with ESPN Deportes.
This one's for Kane. Kane, if you win and Junior wins, what would be next for you? Do you think you would fight Junior for a third time, or are you considering fighting John Jones in a super fight?
Rarely the UFC decides. First at win this fight on May 25th. It's gonna be a hard fight. But whatever the UFC decides, so we'll just see what happens.
And what are the chances that your next title defense could be in Mexico?
I don't know. First gotta get through this fight. That's number one. But I don't know when the UFC is planning on going to Mexico. I would love to fight there, but I don't know when they are deciding to do that.
And tell me, I'm interested to know what's your opinion so far on the women's division?
Oh, it's good. It's good for women out there who are looking to go into fighting. I know I've been watching them a lot in Strikeforce, so it's good that the UFC finally has women fighters, and they are very talented, so they definitely deserve a shot, just like the men do.
Thank you, Kane. This one's for Bigfoot. With heavyweights like Junior Dos Santos, Mark Hunt, Travis Brown, Fabricio Verdum, Roy Nelson climbing up the rankings, do you feel this might be your last chance of winning the heavyweight title?
Com talentos como o Fabrício Verdun, o Roy Nelson, o Mark Hunt, o Júnior dos Santos, subindo cada vez mais os rankings dos pesos pesados, você considera essa a sua última chance de disputar pelo cinturão e ganhar o cinturão?
Não, acho que não. Graças a Deus a categoria está ficando muito competitiva, muitos atletas bons, ótimos atletas, entendeu? Cada luta que o UFC colocar vão ser grandes lutas, e eu tenho certeza que essa não será a última, até mesmo porque eu vou conquistar esse cinturão. Então quem vai defender sou eu.
No, I don't think so. Thank God the heavyweight division is very competitive right now. I think it's fantastic. It pretty much means that any fight the UFC makes has the makings to be an awesome fight. In this division, there's really no poor matchup. But I'm very confident that I'm going to win this belt, and so I believe that I'm going to be the one defending it.
Thank you, Bigfoot. Last one. This one's for Junior. The last time you fought Kane, you were having personal issues, and you said that it might have affected your performance. Are you coming into this fight with no problems? Are you 100% ready for this fight?
Na sua última luta contra o Caim, você citou que você estava sofrendo assuntos pessoais e que isso poderia ter afetado a sua performance. Você está entrando nessa luta 100%? Você está bem? Como é que você está entrando nessa luta contra o Mark Hunt?
Tô bem, graças a Deus. Eu acho que a gente aprende com os erros que vão acontecendo na vida da gente, principalmente na carreira. E com certeza eu aprendi muito com tudo que aconteceu na minha última luta. E para essa luta eu me preparei melhor e tenho certeza que vou vir melhor, vou ter uma performance melhor ainda.
I'm good. Thank God I'm doing really good. I'm ready for this fight. Everything's fine. We learn a lot from our mistakes as people, especially our professional mistakes. And for sure, I learned a lot from my last fight, from how things were for me going into the fight, what I need to do different. And so this is a whole other ball game. I'm prepared and I'm ready to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take our next question from Daniel Olay from Zona Deportive.
This question is for Kane and Bigfoot Silva. What difference on your game plan do you expecting for this upcoming fight?
For me, game plan is pretty much staying the same, but on this one, I have to be ready for everything. Whatever his game plan is, if he comes out more aggressive, if he does different stuff. I'm looking for different stuff out there, but I'm looking as far as my game plan to be the same.
And Silva?
Antônio, qual é o seu plano entrando nessa luta? O que você pretende fazer? O que você pretende fazer de diferente da sua primeira luta?
Olha, basicamente vai ser a mesma coisa que eu fiz na primeira luta, a mesma estratégia. Lógico que com o erro que eu cometi vai ser mudado muito pouco alguma coisa aí, mas basicamente não deixar a minha cabeça perto dos cotovelos dele.
A lot of my preparation has been the same as it was for the first fight. You know, obviously in the first fight I made a big mistake, but there were a lot of things that I did right going into that fight, and that unfortunately you guys didn't get to see. So much of that has been maintained, and you know, overall, the main strategy is just not to let his elbows get near my forehead. That would be the change.
And my last question is for Junior. Junior, being more specific on your comments, what makes you and Cain Velasquez different than the rest of the heavyweight fighters?
O que diferencia você e o Caim dos demais lutadores da categoria do peso dos pesados?
Eu acho que basicamente a velocidade. Claro que o Caim, além da velocidade, eu acho que nós dois somos rápidos para a categoria, mas além da velocidade, o Caim tem um condicionamento físico muito bom. Então acho que isso é o diferencial dele aí. E o meu é mais a velocidade mesmo. Mas na categoria, como foi citado aí os nomes, tem muitos grandes atletas, e principalmente aí com o meu amigo Bigfoot Silva, que vai lutar com ele, e eu vou estar torcendo para que ele vença. Eu quero muito a revanche com o Cain Velasquez, mas eu vou estar torcendo para que o Bigfoot Silva ganhe essa luta.
Basically, I think what sets me and Cain apart is our speed. Both of us are very fast for the division. You know, Cain also has, you know, great cardio, stamina going for him, but, you know, what we have that's different from the rest of the division is our speed. You know, as was stated earlier in one of somebody else's questions, you know, you guys cited Roy Nelson and Fabricio Verdun and Mark Hunt and this, you know, growing talent in the heavyweight division, and I think that's accurate. I think the division has never been better, has never been more exciting. I would love to have a rematch against Cain Velasquez. I mean, that's something that for sure I would like. But in this fight, I'm going to be rooting for my friend Bigfoot. I really want him to win. You know, I think he deserves it. I think he's capable of it, and I'm going to be cheering for him.
Cool. And that's fun.
All right, let's go next to Carlos from Millennial. And, folks, we have time for about two more, so we're going to go to Carlos from Millennial. Carlos, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me there?
Yes, we can.
Yep. Well, the first question is for Cain. How are you feeling from your cardio, from your condition? Are you ready to have another 25-minute fight like what you have with Junior? If Antonio managed to keep you for the 5 rounds?
Yeah, for sure. You know, every fight, you don't know what's going to happen. You know, you have to be ready for everything. Be ready for a 5-round fight, and I'm ready for that.
And also, Cain, I would like to ask you how you feel about this program that UFC is having right now with like 8 or 9 of the best Mexican fighters that they could find. And they're training them with Greg Jackson and Albuquerque. Are you happy that you're going to have a lot more Mexicans right now in the UFC?
Yeah, it's great. You know, it's like in boxing where a lot of Mexicans were big champions in boxing. I feel this thing in MMA, and with time, it's going to keep growing bigger and bigger, and it's a good thing for sure.
You think Greg can make them be in the UFC level in just a couple of weeks?
I don't think. I think the coaches do help, you know, but I think it's individual, you know, the drive that they have, how bad they want it. You know, that's what's going to make them champions. The trainer will help, but it's not the majority of it.
All right. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
We'll take our next question from Dale DeSocia with Chi MMA Corner.
All right, thanks, guys. Question for Cain. You know, obviously everyone knows about your first fight with Bigfoot, but you know, compare how you feel coming into the rematch. You know, to how you felt coming into the first fight. Like, do you feel better coming into this fight than you did the first time you fought Bigfoot?
I'm the same, hungry. Just want to win. Definitely the same. Just obviously, maybe different game plan from Bigfoot, maybe, but that's the only thing that's different in this fight. But as far as being hungry and wanting this win, I'm 100% there.
All right, and do we still have Mark on the line?
Yes, I believe Mark is still there. Mark, are you there?
That's still.
Yeah, he's there. Go ahead.
All right, thanks, Dave. Mark, obviously, you said earlier that a win over Junior should put you in line for a title shot. Is there any pressure on you to get a knockout? Like, in other words, do you feel that the only way you're for sure getting a shot at the title is by knocking out Junior Dos Santos in this fight?
No, there's no pressure on me at all to do that. It's just trying to win is the main thing for me. Of course I want to win, but if that's the plan is to try and knock Junior out, that's the plan. So I just getting the win is all I'm looking for. So.
That'll do it for me. Thanks, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, this does conclude today's question and answer session.